This is Grow Omaha Uncut, where you can watch our radio show, including what goes on in the commercial breaks. And be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Well, good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha show. Glad that you have joined us on this autumn morning. Jeff Beals here at your service from NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate Company. We're also brought to you by D&M Roofing, dandmroofing.com. That is Omaha's premier commercial and residential roofing contractor. All right, Trenton Magid is my co-host, but once in a while we let him have the weekend off so that he can sleep in or do whatever it is that he does, and that is one of those weekends. But in his stead, we have our good friend, a guy you all know very well, from NAI NP Dodge, Jorge Sotolongo. Good morning, Jorge.
Good morning.
Appreciate you coming back and joining us here.
I appreciate it.
We have a lot of names for you on the show. Frequent contributor.
Right.
And the official millennial of the Grow Omaha show.
That's right. I need another one. I don't know.
We could work on it a little bit.
We'll find another one.
What, real estate broker?
How about food expert?
Food expert. Funny you should say that, because today, after the news, we're going to bring on Stacy Winters. He is the founder and head of Omaha Food Lovers, which is the Facebook group dedicated to Omaha restaurants and the Omaha food scene, which has nearly 70,000 members. So for the last 3 quarters of the show, we're going to be talking with Stacy about all sorts of food things.
I can't wait for that one.
Jorge, I tried a good place this morning. Every Saturday, I do show prep at a breakfast place. My daughter, Maddie, comes with me.
I know it's at 7 o'clock or 6:30, and I'm like, no.
Yes. We got there. This place opened at 7. We were there at 7:05 this morning.
Wow.
Lula Bees.
Okay.
That's the first time I had tried it. Wow, that is good. It's at 9th and Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've heard good things. I've not been, though.
Local used to be there.
Yep.
And they've really renovated it since Local was there, and came in, and I just when I go to a breakfast place for the first time, I get the standard breakfast.
Breakfast is your thing.
Almost every day I go out to breakfast. But so today I just did bacon, eggs, hash browns, and toast, because that's my first test. Okay, right. And then the next time I go, I get the omelet. So I upgraded. But I always just go with the basics. Holy cow, bacon off the charts. I always ask for salsa with the scrambled eggs. They had 2 homemade salsas. I almost wanted to drink those things after I was done with the breakfast. So Lula Bees, good, solid place.
Nice.
All right, folks, want to make sure you get out to Nebraska Crossing this weekend, because fall is such a good time to do that. And a lot of people are already shopping for the holiday season, even though Christmas is still, 2 months away. But if you go out to Nebraska Crossing, you find all sorts of amazing deals. A lot of the retailers that you'll find there are only there in the entire state of Nebraska. It's the only Nike store in the state of Nebraska, the only Under Armour store, the only Michael Kors, the only Kate Spade, the only Vineyard Vines, the only J. Crew. I could go on and on and on. And if you haven't signed up for the Fast Cash app, make sure you do that. All you need to do is have the Nebraska Crossing app, or what we sometimes call the NEX app, and then tie a credit card to it. Always use that credit card when you purchase something there, and you get 15% cash back. So get the Nebraska Crossing app, and once you have that, get the Fast Cash app, and it's like you get paid to shop. It's amazing, and it's the first shopping center anywhere in the United States of America to have a program quite like that. Jorge, you ready to go into the news?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. It's brought to you by Eagle Mortgage. I know Jorge loves Eagle Mortgage. He's been a client there. Holly Schneiderwin and her team do such a great job. Doesn't matter whether you're going to do the conventional, the VA, or the FHA loan. They'll take good care of you. You can find them in person at 114th and Davenport, or online at eaglemortgagecompany.com. All right, first story. Jorge, a local developer, plans to construct a 5-story mixed-use building, primarily apartments, but a little bit of commercial space, right at 38th Avenue and Dodge. For those of you who are trying to picture, 38th Avenue and Dodge, there's a Taco Bell on the west side of that street, 38th Avenue.
Yep.
This would be on the east side. Got to tear down 3 single-family houses, but we're talking 5 stories here. And this is another example of density along the orbit line.
Yes. Actually, I know the developer, good friend of mine, and I think they are, going to be in front of the TIF committee here shortly, which means planning board follows right after that. So I'm eager to see the project continue to go through.
And Jorge is on the planning board, so you'll be taking a look at that very closely and very
I'll put
personally.
my personal stamp on it.
Who's the developer?
I know one of the partners, and I'm not sure if it's I don't know what the actual development entity is going to be. So I guess I
can tell you that. They
say.
call it Skylark.
Okay,
LLC.
so it's a different. So they've kind of formed something different for that than I guess. But this is a multifamily owner developer that I know that
has done
I've
a lot of
with
other
in the
stuff.
past. Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool. All right. Well, Nebraska is stepping up its efforts to recruit talent. And this was reported all over the media Monday and Tuesday. That's when Governor Ricketts announced this new campaign. It's called, where to go? Oh, The Good Life is Calling is the name of it. And it's an investment of about $10 million, and it's going to go into marketing. And the idea is to help recruit people to Nebraska. In many cases, they'll be talking to former Nebraskans, but not necessarily. And the primary focus is a 500-mile radius of the state capital. So we're talking Kansas City, Minneapolis, Chicago, Denver, actually being funded by CARES money that the state received. But Jorge, I see this as a good thing because we have this very well-documented people shortage. Not only do we have the lowest unemployment rate in the nation, we currently have the lowest unemployment rate in the nation's history.
Right
now.
We've been saying this for a long time. I think even prior to COVID, we were saying we need to take advantage of the fact that people are starting to migrate towards our market in the Midwest in general from these big cities. It's becoming unsustainable to live there. Jobs are coming. People are coming. Let's just take advantage of it. So I think this is maybe it's not long overdue, but I'm glad it's happening now. I think it's a smart thing. I don't know if it's not for everyone caught on. Maybe this is like a refresh for that. What do you see? Do you see that as almost like a refresh from that branding exercise that we had a few years ago?
I personally hated It's Not For Everyone, even though the state isn't for everyone. Now, and of course, in fairness, that was more of a tourism play.
Yeah, of course.
But I thought it was one of the stupidest things I'd ever seen.
I think it worked more to criticize our state than it did to help our state in a lot of ways. But.
And I get why the marketing firm recommended it and presumably cashed a big check for that. But I thought it was just a hideous decision. You don't reinforce a negative. And again, it was more of a tourism play. They were trying to do the tongue-in-cheek, kind of being a little, playfully irreverent or that sort of thing. But from a talent recruitment perspective, an economic development recruitment perspective, dumb. This one I like.
Yeah, I like this one. And at the end of the day, it can't get worse than South Dakota's drug campaign, Meth, We're All On It.
Is that a real thing?
I'm pretty sure that's a real thing.
Oh, when I think of South Dakota, I always think of great places, great spaces, South Dakota.
Much love to South Dakota, but I think this was like an awareness campaign that just got kind of out of control.
That's pretty funny. Especially,
I guess it worked. I don't know.
South Dakota has great tourism attractions, but it's easy to think of South Dakota as a tourist trap because when you drive on their freeways, everything is like, wall drug or casinos in a gas station and that sort of thing. A lot of billboards along the highway.
I haven't been since I was a little kid, and Lion King, the soundtrack, was on CD at the time.
So you listened to it while you were going through South Dakota?
That's all my parents talk about, is that we were like constantly like playing that in the car every 5 seconds. But I had a good time.
South Dakota actually does a lot of things right. So, and I'm up there probably, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 times a year because my wife's family has a big presence.
I've been wanting to go. It's a beautiful state.
We did it in May of 2020 during the pandemic when everything started to kind of open and we were all stir crazy. We went up to the Black Hills and the Badlands, had a blast. We just did a 2-nighter up there.
Nice.
Had an absolute blast. So yeah, it is a nice.
The good life is calling. That's the thing. That's our new tagline.
The good life. Well, at least it is for this effort.
Okay. I like it, and I really do.
My guess is a lot of the advertising will probably be digital, so it'll be highly targeted to people that show tendencies of being from Nebraska or having affection for the place. We got to get them to come home.
We're going to need people. We're going to need people because we got employers coming.
Oh my God. And I mean, you think about what's going to happen when the Med Center starts installing these 8,700 new jobs that are planned. You drive around. We document this very well on Grow Omaha. I've never seen more construction projects in Omaha, whether you're talking urban or on the suburban frontier. That means there has to be a lot of people.
It's insane. It's insane. I don't even like taking I-80 anymore. It's crazy.
At certain times of day, it's pretty rough. And that's saying something when you consider there's still a substantial portion of the working population that's work from home still.
I know.
Think about what it would be like if everyone was standard practice 2019 work style.
One can only hope.
One can only hope. Someday it'll be there. All right, a couple other quick things we want to share with you. Speaking of that topic, Nebraska has nearly 2 jobs open for every unemployed person. The state has 1.8 unfilled jobs per unemployed person. That's the number 2 highest rate in the country, behind only Washington, D.C., according to Career Cloud. The other top 10 states that are from our region, South Dakota and North Dakota, which are 6th and 9th. And then other piece of news, Omaha-based Intrado Corporation, which is formerly known as West Corporation, has sold its 2-building Miracle Hills Corporate Center to Lockwood Development, which is an Omaha-based real estate development firm. Well, they did the 132nd and Pacific Sterling Ridge project, and they are the co-developer for Crossroads, $500 million project there. So, and these are sizable buildings. One is 149,000 feet. The other one is almost 98,000 square feet. And looks like, I think Intrado is going to, they're going to continue to occupy one of them, but it looks like they're looking for several tenants to occupy the other building.
This push for office acquisition from Lockwood has been really interesting to watch.
Yeah.
There's more, that I've heard, that we've seen. It'll be cool to see what their strategy is moving forward.
Yeah, that will be interesting because they are buying up office space when a lot of other developers would be nervous about that.
I mean, that's always, people always look back and say, hey, I bought this stuff when nobody wanted it. So we'll see if it works out.
I think it will. I think Chip James, head of Lockwood Development, who we've had on the show before and plays a very important role in Omaha's growth and development. Smart guy. Yeah. And smart people that he works with. I think they're onto something.
And he knows how to pull capital, and he knows how to, get people excited about investing in real estate in our city, which is a great talent to have.
Well, one last thing before we break here on the news. We always like to report some real estate news that CoStar give us. CoStar is a real estate analytics company and kind of a real estate journalism company. And we've got some CoStar data on Omaha's red-hot industrial real estate market. By the way, you might find this interesting. There's a total of 96 million square feet of industrial space in Omaha. And of that, only 3.1% is vacant. Jorge, that's like basically no vacancy.
It's funny because this has been the trend even prior to COVID in Omaha. We've been around that 3% or under for many years. And there's just certain types of industrial that just doesn't exist. I mean, every single week, multiple times a week, I'm on the phone with clients regarding industrial investments or working industrial deals right now. So it doesn't surprise me.
CoStar also reports that while there are 96 million total square feet of industrial space in Omaha, 5.7, so which would represent more than 6% of the total space, currently 5.7 million square feet of industrial real estate is currently under construction.
Yep.
That's a hell of a number. That's a hell of a number.
Can't find land fast enough.
Yeah, and the market is occupying nearly 2 million more square feet of industrial space than it was at this time last year. So that will continue to grow. I don't see that slowing down anytime soon.
No, it's not. I mean, and the reality is that the warehouse and distribution activity has not slowed down at all. And if anything, it's just consistently increasing. So we're going to see it more and more. And with the presence of Amazon and all these other big users in the area, I mean, it's only going to get better.
And that is your news of the week, brought to you by Eagle Mortgage, eaglemortgagecompany.com. When we come back from this first break, we're going to bring on Stacy Winters. He is the founder and administrator of Omaha Food Lovers, 70,000 people on a Facebook page that talk about Omaha restaurants, Omaha cuisine, We have them on once a quarter. It's always a fun discussion. Stacy will be with us for the rest of the show. You're listening to Jeff Beals and Jorge Sotolongo, substitute teaching for Trenton Magid on Grow Omaha, brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
This is Eric with D&M Roofing. When a storm hits your commercial,
All right. Pretty interesting to talk about what's not on this list.
That's what most people are. And D&M Roofing is on your side.
It's hard. I mean, who are these people anyway? I mean, this is not local. This is not a local publication, is it?
Yeah, but Sarah Baker Hansen.
Oh, it was Sarah. She wrote the whole. Actually wrote it. Okay.
National publication, local reporter.
We should have had Dan helping write it.
D&M Roofing.
Should have Stacy
I
Winters
actually, I don't know. I mean, I think Sarah did a really good job.
She did. No, she's cool. I just like. I think Dan's doing a really good job, and
Lovely.
he's almost become this he's almost filters.
Yes.
And isn't his dad Dave Halpin the center back in the 80s for the Huskers?
He's a nice kid.
Dan's like
He looks just like his old man.
Dan when he stands next to his dad, Dan still looks short.
Yeah.
Dan's
So funny.
6'5".
And Dan is skinny.
Yeah. He runs a lot.
Yeah. His dad, his dad looked thin because he was 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Is 7 feet tall, but Dan's really thin. His dad was
7 feet is just inconvenient for like the world we live in.
unless you're a center.
I had these on my list of places I tried this kind of quarter, some new places.
You know what I think is another.
It was good. I had this chilaquiles.
I think the good looking is a pretty good breakfast as well. I think that's kind of an underrated breakfast / brunch. Actually, can I get a water?
I'm good.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the good looking. I don't like their service model that well. Although it plays really well.
Like go order then sit.
Yeah, because like right when you walk in, there's the window
Yeah,
there.
it's kind of
the way it's set up, and it's good.
Now you know
their
he
pancakes are really good.
the owner he used to work
Flagship restaurant.
for Flagship, but then also whatever group that's responsible for Flower Child in Dallas. Have you ever been down there and been to this restaurant? If I could bring one restaurant to Omaha right now, it'd be this restaurant. Not because it's my favorite restaurant in the world or anything, but it's because I think it would kill.
Kill it here.
It's like really healthy. I mean, it brings like all the yoga moms and yoga women that you could ever imagine to they flock to this place. And then it's just a really good place to get a very, very good, healthy plate of food.
And Jorge likes going to places where there are a lot of yoga moms.
Hey.
Sorry, Emily.
My wife wears yoga.
So the Eater 38, having that is a big deal for Omaha. I mean, just having that national recognition, that's the big part of that, I think, is that.
Because they do it for every big market, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, you go to New York, Chicago, San
Is
Francisco.
Eater San Francisco based?
I think it might.
I feel like it is, but
I don't know.
I don't know.
For sure. But I think it just puts us on the culinary map, basically.
Yeah, it's well, and there's just more and more things like that where we're playing at a higher level. And I'll tell you what, in 2 years when the Metro hits that 1 million
This
population
Creighton
mark,
dental student was
it'll
just
help.
a few months away
There's a new
from
place called
graduating,
Cumbia.
no vaccine,
Cumbia,
no
yeah.
school,
Cumbia,
and no
that's
tuition.
what it is on top.
Oh, I want to try
She
that.
tells me her story on the Scott
Here we go.
Morgan's page at KFAB.com.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals at your service from NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate Company. We're also brought to you by D&M Roofing. Jorge Sotolongo is substituting for the vacationing Trenton Magid. And we want to remind you to sign up for the Grow Omaha newsletter. We send it out every Thursday, real heavy on content. You can sign up by either going to growomaha.com and filling out the form or sending an email to news@growomaha.com. We're just about ready to pass 9,000 subscribers. We started with 6, and so people keep signing up, and it's a great way to, because there's some things we put in there that we just don't have time for on the show. So news@growomaha.com, send an email, we'll get you on there. All right, Jorge, it's time for us to talk restaurants, and we're going to bring on our good friend and another frequent contributor to the Grow Omaha show, Stacy Winters, who is the founder of Omaha Food Lovers on Facebook. Stacy, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. It's my favorite day of the quarter.
And ours too, because we get to talk about our favorite subject.
And this is my first one, so I'm really excited.
That's true. Well, it's funny because when Trenton was going to be out, I was thinking, oh yeah, maybe we'll just kind of do it myself. And then last night I'm like, oh, I got to call Jorge. He loves restaurants. He'd be perfect to have as the guest co-host.
And I have a lot going on. Let me just say this. So for me to come here is actually a big deal.
Yeah,
It's always fun to talk food.
He's getting ready to move into a new house and has a baby son that could come like within minutes.
Yeah, literally. So,
Awesome.
but this gets me up in the morning. It's fine.
So Stacy, Omaha Food Lovers has now up to just a shade under 70,000 members, and it's one of the most active Facebook groups that I've ever been a part of. Kind of give us a quick overview of Omaha Food Lovers.
Yeah, it's been in existence for a little over 2 years. It expanded, when COVID, hit, and it really grew. I think we were about 16 when COVID hit, so it's definitely grew quite a bit. I think we have such a great active community. It's really inspiring sometimes to see some of the posts that you see in the group. It's like a lot of heartfelt, acknowledgement of restaurants and the struggles they're going through, or acknowledging people that are providing great service. And right now that's a big deal. I think people are exhibiting patience, or hopefully most people are. So
How do you feel like the forum responded to COVID and in supporting all these restaurants?
Yeah, I think it came out, people came out in droves, right? Because I think people are discovered places they didn't know before. And I think that's probably what I've loved about it, is people finding places that they've never heard. They've gone outside their comfort zone. They're going to a lot of the non-chain restaurants. We've done polls in the group, and I think we did our top 25 restaurants, and I think one might have been a chain restaurant in that. So it's pretty cool to see the support, especially for the local places. I think that's been cool. I think we have a very active. I think I've kind of told you this, but you can see kind of from an activity level, I think 90+% of the members are actually active in the group, which is great.
So like 60,000 or
yeah, 60. I think we get the stats, but I think it's over 63 that are actually active in the last month.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. Well, I'm active on it, and I will make a confession right here in front of 12,000 KFAB listeners. I get a lot of my my new restaurant news on the show, and then the newsletter comes exactly from Omaha Food Lovers.
I saw that. I'm a subscriber. I love getting my Thursday email from Grow Omaha, and kind of seeing some of the updates. I know one I think that you had on there was about Muchachos, which is this great restaurant down in Lincoln. They're getting a lot of popularity. They were featured during the Michigan game, the Michigan-Nebraska game. Todd Blackledge went to the restaurant and tried some of their food, and it's definitely got some popularity. But I know Nick, the owner there, is definitely looking forward to expanding into Omaha sometime. There's nothing secured yet, on that, but I know that they're looking to expand.
Yeah, he made a post on Twitter this week saying just got back from Omaha, found a great spot. If it works out, it would be 12 to 15 months or whatever. And I've never been to the place and hadn't heard of it until it was on that football game, so I looked it up. Fusion between New Mexican cuisine, and I lived in New Mexico for a year, and loved the food there. In fact, I go back every year just to eat. Mm-hmm. And then barbecue, which is one of my favorite things on the planet.
Yep.
Gary Saddlemeyer and I have a barbecue club. The two of us go to a new barbecue place every month. But so yeah, that'd be a great place.
Yeah.
Well, Stacy, speaking of new places, one of the things we always like to throw at you when we first have you on are like, okay, what's new? What are some of the new places that have either opened lately or places that have been around for a while that you've tried and you want to recommend? Well,
this is a very timely discussion, because last night I went to a new place off 88th and Maple called Everett's. Doing a pretty small menu, but doing it really, really well. I put a post in the group last night about their fries. Their fries are absolutely incredible. I am a huge fry lover, and they do the skin-on, kind of thin cut French fries, perfectly crisp with you can get their garlic aioli as a dipping sauce with them, which is really, really good. I highly recommend that. They're doing a poutine special this week, so if you're a poutine lover, I can only imagine how great that version would be, just because of how good the fries are. So that was a really cool place to check out, or a place that I did check out. Some other things that kind of discovered in the last kind of quarter, not necessarily new places, but just some favorites that I found. Finally got the chance to dine in at Canara. Kanara is, probably, one of the best Indian restaurants in Omaha. The food's great, carry out or dine in, but I think it was elevated a bit having the dine in experience now too. So that was really good. Checked out Shehin Afghan restaurant, which is located on the backside of where Big Fred's is at. First time having Afghani or Afghanistan kind of food, and it was phenomenal. The whole family is working there. It's pretty cool to go in there, and
they're nice people.
They're very nice people.
Our office is not far from there, so I've strayed over there a couple times before. And
it's good
really
stuff.
fun.
Like their lamb kebab is really, really good. Something else I think just kind of everybody's always looking for a Sunday fun day type of place to go to. Not a new restaurant by any means, but Report In Pub. I don't think probably has as much. People don't necessarily always think of it as this fantastic breakfast brunch spot. But I would say if you're looking for a place to go for a true fun day, I would say the Report In Pub is probably at the top of my list. They don't just have bottomless mimosas; they have a whole mimosa cocktail menu. So they do some blood orange mimosas, but it's not just orange juice and champagne. It's got other things mixed into it. They have a blueberry lemon mimosa, and they're obviously known for their Bloody Marys. That's kind of what kind of put them on the map. I think was their kind of the meal in a mug type thing. So that's a few things. I don't know if we want to talk about. There's a few things happening today.
Well, let's take our middle of the show break, and then we'll come back and talk about some of those things today.
Yeah.
And then we might go deeper into some other restaurant talk.
Yeah, and I also have a announcement for the Food Lovers group too. So
okay, good, which is very, very timely, because I would swear half or more of the people that listen to this radio show are on Omaha Food Lovers.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. We're going to get a big announcement, and we'll also do our commercial real estate development spotlight of the week, brought to you by Noddle Companies, and a lot more with Stacy Winters, the head of Omaha Food Lovers Group on Facebook. So you're listening to Jeff and Jorge on Grow Omaha. Trenton has got the weekend off, and we'll be back in just a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Movie nights just got better.
Okay, so we've got, so we'll talk about the events, like Tired Texan. We'll talk about sauce. And then...
Sauced with a D at the end. Sauced.
Oh, sauced. Okay. And then we'll talk about the Omaha Food Lovers announcements. Okay. And then, so with that, we can kind of softball you up, like, you said you have some announcements to make about Omaha Food Lovers. And then, if we have any time left, we'll just talk general, whatever you feel like bringing up, Jorge, and then just talk restaurant talk.
Either 38 would be a good top.
Yeah, I think we talk about the article. We talk about what's on
like new restaurants. I think you covered, in your article. But I think Gather's kind of been a popular place.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of people going in, like people going downstairs to check out their little hydroponic farm, and
the Shugs Company Food opened up in Bellevue, where Quick Bite Soul Food was at.
I've got that on the lightning round, so we'll talk about that in the lightning round.
Okay. I saw. I have no idea that Rebel Monkey Pizzeria is opening where Pudgy's was at.
And whatever you were searching for.
I talked to the owner on
really
email.
none of our business.
Someone hooked us up, and
Protect your privacy.
she's very excited. And the logo looks cool. And I looked in because I live within walking distance of that place. So a little over a week ago, when I posted that week's newsletter on Omaha Food Lovers, one of the responses was, "Oh, I noticed this place is open here in Pudgy." So I immediately, I need to take a walk. I walked down there. Looks cool. Looks like it's going to be a lot more counter-oriented than Pudgy's was. Like it'll have even less seating than Pudgy's had. But with pizza, that makes a lot of sense.
Surprised Fizzy's wasn't on the list. That's been pretty popular down in Little Bohemia.
Did she put Night Owl?
Yeah.
That's why I think if you read it, I think she's Night Owl and Fizzy was the same people.
Yeah, okay.
She didn't want to do
Night Owl was on it.
Okay. So she really worked in 39.
There's a little taco truck down on 13th in Bohemia right now too. That's pretty good. Mexican sweet tea or whatever it is. That guy's pretty good.
Dan did a post about taco.
Yeah,
he went there.
pretty good. But
I love I talked about this Alley Taco Forum too.
Oh yeah,
I talked about that last show.
Yeah.
That about put my wife into early labor. We had it like not that long ago. She didn't feel too good after. I thought it was awesome though.
It was really good.
It was really good. I came at the end. They were like already out of everything. Another thing that I think is fun, I did this like 2 Fridays ago, was actually went to Isla Del Mar on 36 and Q, and like we go there like a Friday night and eat sushi in South O, and like nobody knows you can just go eat sushi in South O, which is always kind of fun.
Go there with you sometime.
And we get all kinds of stuff. You can get like literally like a whole octopus. Like, it's crazy.
I would like a 50-pound octopus.
You order octopus and you just think you're gonna get a tentacle. It's gonna be nice. They bring the whole thing. It's got the freaking head on it still. Almost.
They do a Wednesday night special, I believe. It's like with a whole fried fish, like
Yes.
salad, rice, $5.
Yes. No, it's insane. And then like the kids menu. The kids menu. I got a kids menu quesadilla for my daughter. That thing was like this big. It was like $4.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just gonna come here and get out and eat the kids menu. I'm like,
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
but I think that's kind of a fun, and it's such a South Omaha Latin American vibe on a Friday night. I mean, it's just you wouldn't think you're in Omaha.
I've got to get down there.
The gal that owns Ismara, is that Gonzalez? She's really young. I mean, she's like
They are young. They have all this.
maybe 30.
Oh, wow. That's, yeah.
They work with their family in Mexico to get everything like direct. I mean, it's like they try to keep the supply chain like as tight as possible.
Really?
So I mean, it's good stuff, and it's not like the cheapest restaurant in South Omaha. It's probably one of the more expensive restaurants in South Omaha. It's got a lot of good stuff.
I'm sure you, since you live out there, have you been to Timber Creek?
Yeah,
Do you like
many times.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm an onion ring guy. They have my favorite now.
Yeah.
Those thin cut are so perfect.
Everything but pizzas are good there.
They quietly sold
Oh, I didn't know that.
in like June or July.
Oh, okay.
The guy that owns 72 Table and Tap now owns Timber Creek also.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, I didn't realize that.
They said they purposely did that because like they didn't want anybody to know. Like change hands. They didn't want to have any. But like the owners, I think they moved out of town or wanted to like move to Colorado or do
Okay.
something like that. So.
You know, we used to go there. We used to go there probably a couple times a month for a while, and love it. We haven't for a while just because I think we got onto other things. But you could literally walk there from our house, and I always thought they had some of the best hot wings in town. They were very large.
Yeah, they
and-
do.
Okay, so Schwartz's Deli. Someone called me, which is sad because I always liked the place. That pastrami was amazing. But someone called me and said, I heard Yoshitomo was going in there. So I called Yoshitoma, and their answer was, we have no plans to expand in Omaha at this time. So I don't know where this guy got that rumor, but I don't know. I can't imagine they would relocate from it where they're doing so well.
Yeah, I would say if they were to expand, it would probably be Kansas City because that's just has to be.
Well, the way
that is by far one of the most important restaurants in Omaha in terms of getting us like national recognition.
Oh, yeah.
I got friends that follow
Do you have someone giving you a
David
no-cost
and the
business
restaurant
assessment on
online
your
and that are
commercial
just like
property?
sushi
If not, you should.
aficionados.
Hi,
Like these
this
guys
is
that
Eric
go to
Overham with
Japan all the
D&M
time,
Roofing.
and they're like
No
keyed
cost
into what
risk
he's doing.
management is a free
Yeah.
service
You know,
we
these are
offer.
friends of mine
Let
that
us
live
come
in
take a
like
look at your
Dallas,
property to make
other
sure you don't
bigger
have any
markets.
damage
Okay.
from recent storms.
And it's just an
If you
amazing
do,
place.
our
And you look at
experienced
some of the
team
things
will
he's
help you through the
posting all the
process.
time and some of the
D&M
ways
has
he's
been a
preparing
proud
fish right
Omaha
now.
business since
No one else is
1965.
doing that
Find us
anywhere
online
near
at dnmroofing.com.
Omaha at this level. It's
That's
insane.
and
All right, here we go.
That's pretty freaking cool.
Hey, it's Ian Swanson. Beef is Nebraska's #1 industry, but many activists think it's a primary driver of climate change. Ashley Coles, a Nebraska cattleman, joins me Monday to respond. The Ian Swanson Show, only on News Radio 1110, KFAB.
And welcome back to the show. Jeff Beals and Jorge Soto-Longo sitting in for Trenton Magid this weekend. We are brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge Commercial Real Estate Company. And this is your commercial real estate development spotlight brought to you by Noddle Companies, noddlecompanies.com. Noddle Companies, led by Jay Noddle, is the premier developer in this area. Goodness gracious. They do Exarban Village. They're taking care of Steel Ridge. They're doing a medical campus west of Village Point, the Builders District downtown, River's Edge. So many of the great and beautiful developments in our area are Noddle Companies developments. And Jorge, we're talking about restaurants. And when you think about Exarban Village, one of those Noddle Company developments, so many restaurant choices there. You know, Interrail always has new things, and Beacon Hill and Kincaidor just opened a tap room there. Herb Sant Love Herb Sant. And then can't wait for this Saffron to open, this really nice Indian place with a upscale cocktail bar.
Very excited for that.
Cannot wait. So yeah, you could do a lot worse in Exarban Village if you want to go out for some nice cuisine. And of course, if you want something casual, Backlot Pizza is there. And we absolutely love Backlot Pizza. They're sponsoring the restaurant and retail section in our newsletter now. And they are also the same company that has the beautiful ACX 12 movie theater. And then at Exarban Village, they have Exarban Cinema.
And it's Detroit style pizza, which is very distinct. And I think it's kind of cool that we have it in Omaha.
Stacy Winters, head of Omaha Food Lovers. Do you like that Detroit style pizza?
I do, actually. It's probably it's my wife's favorite pizza in Omaha.
Yeah.
That crispy kind of
Yeah.
caramelized
That
crust
cheese
on the edge.
comes up on the side.
What I find funny though, and I'm sure this happens, but people from Detroit are like, "What's Detroit style pizza?" Like they're like, "We've never heard of Detroit style pizza." With some, it just got labeled that when it left the city. But yeah.
But it is Detroit style because like Bill Barstow, who owns Backlot Pizza and the Exarban Cinema and ACX, he's from Detroit.
Right.
And he tells a story about how, basically it was, all those manufacturers at the end of World War II, they had this little pan with kind of slanted out sides that were kind of tall. And they literally cleaned up one of those and made the very first Detroit pizza out of that.
I actually bought my own Detroit style pizza pan so I can make it at home.
Yeah.
Lloyd's Pans is kind of the place you order those from. Good stuff.
All right, and that is your commercial real estate development spotlight for this week, brought to you by Noddle Companies, developing all over the Midwest and in Omaha. You can find out more at Noddle, Noddle, noddlecompanies.com. As we mentioned, Jorge and I have Stacy Winters here. And Stacy, there are a couple of events going on today in the foodie world.
Yeah, I mean, they're mostly, just kind of related to a couple of different restaurants. But Tired Texan is doing a kind of a soft, I wouldn't say soft opening, but, I think most people know they had a fire. They've been closed down for 4 months as they've been trying to get their smoker to arrive. The supply chain issues, kind of impacts everybody. So they finally got their smoker. And today they're doing kind of a goodwill donation. They're going to be offering like pulled pork sandwiches and their famous tumbleweeds. I think it starts at 11, I believe. So you can go over there. They're kind of just doing it in the parking lot. And I think they're planning to reopen permanently. They think they targeted the 30th of this month. So, I can't even imagine. I mean, those restaurants that, have gone through so much just with COVID, but then to have a fire, be shut down for 4 months, to still battle your way back to reopening, it's a big deal. And I think, hopefully we can show them all some love.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The other thing was there's a small little restaurant down in Louisville called Sauced by Alfaro. She's a wonderful chef. It is a carry-out only location. I think she was hoping to have a full service, but some things fell through, and so currently it is a carry-out only. But you can go next door to the Good Times bar and order it there, eat it there. They're having some, but today she's doing her bang bang shrimp tacos, like puffy tacos.
Oh wow!
It's a hugely popular one, and I think last night she posted something like they battered up like 1,600 shrimp to go for this day. So they're doing basically from 12 to 8. A special with those tacos and a few other things that they offer. They have these garlic confit fries where it's just loaded with garlic and Parmesan, and it's really, really
It's
good.
coming from the fry guy.
Yeah,
Good.
it's really, what she's doing down there is pretty impressive. She makes some fantastic desserts, and there's also a little place in Louisville called Mrs. T's Dairy Cream, which this is their last weekend open for the year. So if you go down there, make sure you stop there, and I highly recommend the hot fudge malt.
I love malt.
That sounds
I'm a
deadly.
malt
hot
person
fudge
through and
malts
through.
are my weakness. I love hot fudge malts with extra malt.
I like vanilla malt.
Yeah.
Vanilla malt is my thing. So
Yeah.
it sounds like
Me too,
Louisville's
but with
definitely
extra malt.
Okay, with extra
Yeah.
malt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Louisville is definitely a worthwhile trip
Yeah.
this Saturday.
Yeah.
Now, Stacy, you mentioned that Omaha Food Lovers is going to have a big announcement here. We're kind of eager to hear what it is.
Yeah, we are. Hopefully by the end of this year, we will have a Food Lovers app where we will partner with local eateries, restaurants, bakeries, you name it, whoever wants to be involved, bars, grills, whatever.
So like a piece of software, not an appetizer.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But basically we'll work with the local restaurants to kind of incentivize diners to come try out their places. So it'll be an app that people can download and hopefully offer some incentives for people to try new places. And I think it'll offer like a once a month type of discount that people can whatever the restaurants want to offer. For people to come try out their restaurants. So it'll be hopefully by the end of this year we'll have something unveiled. So we're working on kind of the branding and the development right now. So
that'll be exciting.
It'll be
You let
very,
us
very,
know.
very cool.
We'd love to check it out as soon as we can.
Absolutely.
I tell you what, I don't know about you folks, but after a couple segments of this, I'm about ready to start eating the laptop and the papers sitting on the desk. I'm getting so hungry with this conversation. But it's going to get worse because we're going to take our final break of the morning. When we come back, Stacy is going to stay with us for the lightning round. Got a couple of non-restaurant items that we're going to mention real fast in the lightning round. Then we're going to talk about a new comfort food restaurant in Bellevue. We're going to talk about a restaurant going in around 132nd and Maple, and we'll ask a couple other food-related questions to Stacy. So a lot of stuff coming up for the lightning round, brought to you by Turner Construction. Stacy Winters from Omaha Food Lovers is going to stay with us. Jorge is substituting for Trent Maggot. We're having a blast. We're brought to you by D&M Roofing and NAI NP Dodge, and we'll be back in just a moment on News Radio 1110 KFAB. Okay, so Mas Chingon is going to take the old Lombardo's space.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we've got actually breaking news for Omaha Food Lovers. And I just found this out yesterday afternoon.
The only thing I hate about that location is the cigar smell. It is so bad.
It seeps, doesn't it?
Oh my
Where
goodness.
is this?
132nd south of Maple.
Oh, yeah.
You know that restaurant that's on the end cap, the south end cap? For a while it was, remember when it was Bevos? Yeah. And I loved that place. And remember it had that unique wood lumber sculpture in the middle of it? I always liked that place.
Yeah.
It was Enzo's too.
And there was Enzo's, which I liked Enzo's.
Enzo's not
Remember-
Amore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Remember when
yes,
it was
that's right.
Bianco or something? Bianchi or something like that? Back in the
And there was, it wasn't an
This is a
orange.
long time ago.
Yeah,
For-
it was Blanc. Yeah, Bianco. It was like,
Bianco.
it was like when the Roja and
Blue
Blue
Roja, they were
Yeah.
doing the red, white, and blue thing.
But there was one period you went in there and everything was decorated orange. And it was some restaurant that the
Oh,
chairs were
you were
orange.
right.
Was that when it was first
After
Lombardo's?
Bianco? Yeah, it must have been after Bianco. So I used to grow up around there.
Yeah,
Or maybe it was further, it's been a lot of things. They've all been either pretty good or quite good, but none of them stuck.
I've heard a lot of people complain about the cigar smell.
Maybe that's
I
what
mean,
it
it
is.
is like really loud.
And that doesn't faint as much, like if I smell cigarettes, I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
If I smell a cigar, I'm like,
Yeah, it's not as bad.
It doesn't bother me.
It isn't as
Yeah.
bad, but it is pretty overpowering.
that is true.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, cigar smell like, I kind of like that. Cigarettes.
They,
maybe.
even at Copa, out there in Legacy West or whatever, the neighbors tend to complain about that too. But they've had to do some, they put some, a lot of modifications and stuff to help it out.
So it's pronounced Chingon?
Mas Chingon.
Is that a Spanish word? It looks like an Asian word to me.
No, it's a somewhat explicit word actually, which is kind of funny. Like,
All right, here
Oh,
we go.
Quebec.
this means really cool
has
though,
an
but
entirely different view of law enforcement than County Attorney Don Klein, and he's challenging Klein. Hear the interview with Pantos. Podcast link, morning news page, KFAB.com.
And Grow Omaha is back with the lightning round brought to you by Turner Construction. Turner Construction is building for the future, and as part of their commitment to helping Omaha become a better place, they sponsor this show because they're very community and civic minded, so they want to be involved. They like what we're doing here in Grow Omaha. They say that the mission of Grow Omaha, making Omaha better, is very consistent with their mission anytime they make a commitment to a local area. So Turner Construction came to Omaha just a few years ago to start that massive Sarpy County data center, and they've really become part of the fabric. They're doing all sorts of stuff with Metro Community College to develop more tradespeople. You know, we have this labor shortage, and it's probably more pronounced in construction than pretty much any other industry. So really appreciate Turner Construction doing everything they can to help grow Omaha, to help Omaha, and to help our construction and built environment. Turner Construction. All right. We have Jorge Sotolongo subbing for Trenton. We have Stacy Winters from Omaha Food Lovers that's joining us here to kind of help out. I'm going to give you a couple quick news items, then we're going to talk more about restaurants. First of all, it's all about bees. bees, as in the little insects, has expanded into an additional 2,200 square feet next to its existing store at 8540 Park Drive. All About Bees is a specialty gift shop that and a gourmet grocery that has local honey and beeswax products. The future Aldi store is under construction in the former Fresh Time Market in Baker Square, southwest of 132nd and West Center Road. Another Aldi just opened not that long ago at 192nd and West Center Road. Aldi has about 8 or 9 locations in the metro area right now. A couple of businesses that have requested liquor licenses. One is Godega Market for 423 South 11th Street in the Old Market. Other is Bottles and Brews at 10745 Mockingbird Drive. Then there's Rookie's Bar and Grill at 1702 North 120th. And Good Evans at the former Pepper Jack space at 74th and Pacific. That Good Evans, I've looked that place up, you guys, and it's from Kearney, and it looks like a really good breakfast place.
Yeah, I think they have one in Lincoln.
As well, yeah. So I'm anxious to try that. Well, guys, I want to throw this one out at you, too, that I have slated for the lightning round here. But, Stacy, I'm going to let you report on it. It's called Shug's Comfort Food.
Yeah, Shug's Comfort Food just opened up in Bellevue at the former location of Quick Bite Soul Food. Couldn't think of that for a second. So it's, I think, a fairly similar type of southern cuisine. So I think people were really sad when Quick Bites did close, and so this is I think going to be a great replacement for that. So if you're wanting your southern comfort food, smothered chicken, collard greens type, mac and cheese, I think this will be a new place for you to check out.
So then we also have found out that Mas Shingon from Benson is expanding more than we thought. We had already reported on the show a while back that they were going to open a new location, a second location in Shadow Lake Town Center in Papillion. Now we get news, thanks to Ed Pecci in our office at NP Dodge, informed us that Mas Shingon is going to go into the former Lombardo's restaurant space near 132nd and Maple. So talk to us a little bit about Mas Shingon. It looks like they're going to have 3 locations. By the way, the original is at 6207 Maple in Benson.
So what's interesting is the original location is just like a couple of blocks further west of Benson. It was in a tiny location,
this.
And it's amazing to see in probably a matter of 3 years, something like that, how far they've expanded since that original location.
And they were just Chingon, I think, then.
Yeah.
And then they went to Mas Chingon or something like
that. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is kind of an explicit word. I mean, no, I don't think anybody knows this, but for all the Spanish speakers out there, it's kind of an explicit way to say, like, this is awesome or this is great. Insert an F word before then, you kind of got it.
So it's something that the FCC might get nervous if you say.
Exactly. I like that we were able to sneak it in because nobody knows what it means. Exactly.
Did you hear that, FCC?
Just look it up on urbandictionary.com.
Yeah, so I think it's I think going to be a really good addition to that area of Omaha. 132nd and Maple could definitely. I mean, Copal is already is there. So, I mean, I think that's probably a little bit of similarities. I have not tried Mas Chingon's brunch menu, but they have a very good-looking brunch menu that I plan to explore here very, very soon.
That's a good idea.
Well, Jorge, let's put Stacy Winters, head of Omaha Food Lovers, on the spot here a little bit.
Okay.
He loves it when we do this. And the question is, Stacy, what are some restaurants that you have not tried yet, either because you haven't gotten to them or they're rather new, that in the next month or so they're on your radar? What are some places you want to go to that you have yet to try?
Oh, geez. I think there's a place in Fremont actually called Alto, which is a kind of an upscale kind of restaurant for Fremont.
Pastas and things. I mean, a lot of good stuff.
Yeah. I have not tried the Galley. The Galley is a carry-out place located down on, I don't remember, like 40-something in Center. They have like really good-looking kind of meatball subs and sandwiches and pizza that I've definitely have wanted to try. The Omaha Kebabs location that opened up off 120th and Blondo is kind of high on my list. Their food, the posts I've seen look really, really good. And I think La Sierra, it's down in South Omaha. I've not tried it yet. It's kind of down by where Olson's Bake Shop is at.
10th.
Yeah, 10th Street.
I have
yeah.
not been there yet.
So it looks really, really good. They do. It's not like your typical Mexican restaurant. I think they're doing like gorditas and some other types of food there that looks really, really good. Haven't tried that yet. And I still haven't tried the corn dog food truck. The corn dog company.
Corn dog company.
I mean, people rave about it. I think they're doing really, really well. So that's a place I definitely want to try. And then I also, I'm sure maybe if you're in the group, you've seen the Korean corn dogs.
Oh, yeah.
Which are offered at like Midwest Oriental Market or something like that, like kind of off of 84th between Center and I-80. It's a little grocery store, but they're offering up the Korean corn dogs, which some of them are just filled with cheese or they're rolled in like diced potatoes and then fried, and they have a little bit of sweetness to them. So those look really good. Those are a few of the things that I kind of want to try that I haven't had the opportunity to yet.
Wow, Jorge.
That's extensive right there. Good thing we record this so we can go back and just listen to it.
What about you, Jorge? What's a place, especially because you're such a South O expert, what's a place in South O you want to go to that you either haven't tried or haven't been for a long time?
Well, I'm going to shout out one that I go to all the time.
Real fast. We only have 30 seconds.
Teach Teco Mexican restaurant on 16th and Center. I go there probably every Friday. Great family. 100% go there.
Love it. Stacy, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Stacy Winters, Omaha Food Lovers. Jorge, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
That's it for this week. You've been listening to Grow Omaha, brought to you by NAI NP Dodge, D&M Roofing, and Turner Construction. We'll chat with you next week at 9 o'clock right here on News Radio 1110 KFAB. If you like this video, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And remember, Grow Omaha is not just media. This is a mission. We are trying to build up Omaha and make it an even better place. We can only do that with your help. Share this video with your friends, neighbors, and family.